Hello, dear one. My name is Naniya from Love and Freedom Life Strategies. I'm a health and life coach. This past weekend, we celebrated Canada Day, July 1st, and also Happy Independence Day to all of my American friends out there. It's wonderful to celebrate the birth of these nations. It is wonderful to celebrate what we have built together. I've got to tell you, though, the most remarkable thing for me over this past weekend was visiting Pier 21. It's turned into a museum, but it's been a traditional place of entry for folks who are coming from other countries to Canada to immigrate. And they have some beautiful displays. They use some creative and cool multimedia presentations to trace the history of Pier 21 and of Halifax, the development of Halifax. One of the things that I found most moving and astounding were the displays that highlighted our ugly history, the parts of our past that were wrong, that were mistakes, that we regret, that we don't ever want to repeat. This was a theme throughout the museum at Pier 21, and I was amazed by it. And I'm so grateful for it, that there seems to be a willingness here in many circles to say we did wrong, to admit our ancestors made terrible choices. They missed the mark. They acted in ways that were misogynistic, were racist. They built systems and structures to oppress people, particularly our Indigenous people, African Canadians, Jewish people. One of the displays at Pier 21 was about a boat that had come seeking refuge from Nazi Germany and was turned away. And many of those 900 passengers ended up being killed in concentration camps. Canada does not have a pure past, but when we are willing to admit those wrongs, we are able to make changes and to shift and to do better. I see this as a very biblical way of living, a godly way of living. I see in James 5 this idea. James says, confess your sins to one another that you might be healed. This idea of being willing to admit our wrongs to one another, maybe privately, maybe publicly, that through that practice and that act will spring forth healing and good fruit in our lives. And then in Nehemiah, I notice, in other places in the Old Testament too, but this idea of like a corporate confession, a corporate admittance that we have done wrong, we personally or our ancestors. There's no shame in this. It's actually an amazing godly practice that will bring about the healing and the health and the abundance of our societies and of our lives personally, in our families, in our neighborhoods, in our churches, in our schools. This is the right path forward, to be willing to admit where we are wrong and where our people have gone wrong. I could tell you many stories, even just here in Halifax, in this one city, where there were atrocities committed against whole people groups because of racism, because of the power structure, because the wealthy, the European, the male, held the power and used it to oppress, to steal from, to deny help to those who needed it most. And when we can learn about this. I love how here in our schools, our kids are learning about this, very actively being taught, so that we do not repeat these mistakes ever. Let us have a heart of compassion and a heart of humility, a willingness to admit where we and our ancestors have gone wrong, so that we can grow and heal, so that we can bear good fruit now and in the future. Thank you for being with me today. Let's continue to practice together. Peace to you.